Ahmed Hussen is waiting today and for weeks to come to find out just how long he will have to spend in prison. He is the first Canadian to be found guilty of attempting to join a terrorist group abroad and encouraging someone else to do the same. Yesterday, during a sentencing hearing, Crown prosecutors asked that he receive the maximum penalty, 10 years. This case is one that my next guest has been following closely. Ahmed Hussen is a lawyer himself and the national president of the Canadian Somali Congress, and he joins me on the line now. Good morning.
Good morning.
So it's been a couple of weeks since Ahmed Hussen was found guilty. What's been the reaction that you have heard from people in the Somali community?
I think there's two reactions. One is that now with these new provisions, if you're a young person of any background in Canada who's attempting or counseling others to join a terrorist organization, the government will charge you and prosecute you. The second reaction that this case has brought forward is one of concern in the community, because there were concerns expressed by Mr. Hersi's lawyer that there were concerns around entrapment, which is very common in such cases, because there have been similar cases in the United States that have involved entrapment accusations.
And this is based on the fact that originally a USB stick was found in, a pair of pants in a dry cleaning bag, and so there was a lot of intelligence information that investigators were able to gather from that, and that led to what I guess some are calling the entrapment. Is that what's at issue?
Well, there are concerns expressed by not just community members, but Mr. Hersi's lawyer, who has obviously reviewed the evidence, and he was pleading with the judge to set aside the jury's verdict because of concerns around entrapment and around the evidence collected by the undercover officer. That obviously has created a concern in the community that
they feel they're being watched.
Yes, and so it doesn't help with the trust issue with law enforcement. So it's a mixed reaction to this verdict, but obviously a clear signal that cases like this will be prosecuted and charged by law enforcement and by the justice system.
As a lawyer, what do you make of the idea of Hersi receiving the maximum penalty?
I think, I wasn't the lawyer on record, but I think that he doesn't have a criminal record, and to my understanding, I don't think he has violated any of his bail conditions. So I'd be very surprised if he gets the maximum sentence allowed in this case.
In spite of this having been requested and recommended?
Yeah, his lawyer will also make submissions to suggest that he should receive a much lower sentence than that. That was just the position of the Crown, the maximum. But his defense lawyer has already asked for a much lower sentence than that, because Mr. Hersi does not have a criminal background and other factors. So we'll see what the judge decides next month.
And what kind of signal would that send then? If the whole idea behind this was to send a message imposing a maximum sentence to have sort of that effect.
Well, no, I think the message is sent by the charging and the prosecuting. I think sentencing is something that is always weighed against the particular circumstances of the offender, and this case is no different when it comes to that determination by the judge.
So it's the 24th of July that Hersi will find out his fate. How closely will you be watching this?
I think I and many other people will be watching, because, like you said, this is the first case that has gone to court under the new provisions in the criminal code regarding terrorism. So it's a very interesting case for a lot of people, including law enforcement and community members.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and giving us your thoughts. We'll stay tuned and see what happens on the 24th.
You're most welcome. Thank you for having me.